Morning, morning. Mask on, please.
It's back to the books, but not as they know it. These students at the British International School in Hong Kong are returning to campus, but a different one they left behind.
We check here on the screen. The temperature pops up green. It's okay.
So nobody's allowed into school at the start unless they have completed quarantine here in Hong Kong and that they've actually made a declaration that there's no one at home who's in quarantine. No one's allowed to come into school unless they've got a temperature that is below 37.2. Well, I think the Education Department have been trying to get schools open and have been working very hard with schools to enable us to open, and they're working very closely with the Health Department. The directions coming from the Health Department about social distancing and those measures in schools are actually stricter than we have in the wider society at the moment.
Changes include no sharing stationery, perspex dividers in classrooms and different arrangements to allow for social distancing during lunchtime. Games are allowed during break, just as long as they stick by the rules.
The rules are you have to wear a mask.
Yeah.
You have to take it off when you're eating. And you have to be a metre apart, so arm length apart, like this.
International schools in Hong Kong are the first to open their doors after almost 4 months of closures. Government schools start returning this week.
Now obviously we've just come back from a long closure. One of the things we want to do is a lot of the practical stuff. So it's been a bit of a sort of challenge to meet the health requirements of the Health Department, and yet educationally these are the things that students weren't able to do at home, whether it's science experiments or working in an art department.
A bottle of sanitizer is never far away. Hand washing is compulsory before and after every class. But it's not just these physical differences being monitored.
One of the other issues I think schools need to look at is the well-being of staff and pupils returning to school. Students have got into a different working pattern. They've been getting up later. They've just been able to sort of zoom in, without having to do the travel and so on.
I'm delighted to be back in school. 17 weeks was a really long time to be away, and I think as a teacher we're just not used to being so isolated and in front of a screen for that long. That was a real shock for me, not having that interaction with students.
It's quite weird seeing all my friends that I haven't seen for so long and not being able to be so close to them. I have to stay a metre away from them.
I feel like everyone here has changed a lot though.
In what way? How's people changed, do you think?
Just the way that they act now. Just we're all really focusing on our safety and just trying to work around the whole thing.
They are getting used to wearing masks in lessons, but one has to speak out a bit more, when one's behind a mask, and to some extent the shy ones can hide behind the mask a bit. So teachers are having to work slightly differently in terms of what's going on in classrooms.
The witches. The witches have just appeared in front of you. What's going to happen to your body? Show me. You're going to be bolt upright. You're showing me that shock. Brilliant.
And what advice do Kellett students have for those returning to class in other parts of the world?
So follow the rules and just try and stay safe in general.
It's not a punishment. Just do what everyone tells you, and that's what will keep you safe.
With hardly any locally transmitted cases recorded in Hong Kong for the past 3 weeks, the city is slowly relaxing its social restrictions. But for the kids at this campus, these new school rules will be in place for some time to come.